Alrighty then. Well, I'm back. Let's have a look. Alrighty. Obviously seems that there's been a few goings on within the political realms, and a question probably to answer. Now, when looking at the grand scheme of things, everything is just generally running for par for course, in a manner of speaking, and that is just to simply keep this short. Right now, hot topics in amongst everything else, policies and procedures, or policies in general, on progressively unravelling, so effectively politics is going back to sort of dealing with the country itself. And we start looking at this whole exit from the EU membership. And it's never going to be easy. When you become so used to something, you've participated for so long, no matter which environment it is, the term is you become somewhat institutionalised, which basically means that's all you've come to know. Therefore, and in turn, when change comes, it's very difficult to break that pattern. That is. Like, for instance, use it's the biggest subject, it's the biggest example that could be possibly today. A lot of people, in one varying manner or another, are saying pretty much the same thing. So much so that even the conduct of the European Union is being noticed by leading members within the European Union itself. So it's fair to say that whilst the majority have been whipped into backing one particular state of mind and had fear instilled into them, there are still people out there that are looking at this objectively, not subjectively. Yeah? And they're saying that, this is generally the way the European Union conduct themselves, and is not very good. So, two people over a period of time have actually stated somewhat similar views to my own. So whilst I may support their views, and by reiteration, there are some variations. So I take everything that they say, something that I thought fully support, and it's up. Okay? But still, nonetheless, there are comparable likenesses, and yes, it needs to be sorted. What people have come used to, being life in the actual membership or within the European Union, is a form of totalitarianism. So it's elite, or but it's more of a elitism branding liberalism. So it's kind of pushing all those who say people, or end of group of all, because they make decisions themselves. Say it's on behalf of the people. But it's alright, I'll come to that part at the end. But life out, what you're looking at is independence. Rule under variable conditions. So effectively taking each part of the whole and treating it based on its merit. Because naturally speaking, as I said right from the beginning, that at the end of the day, whilst the sum of the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, without developing the sum of the parts, the sum of the whole will never very simple. So effectively, autonomous government is the difference between one set of autonomous government and another. So you've got totalitarianism, everybody's treated the same, collective, and then you've got independence, which is variable rule. Third is government. On one hand, so life in, but trade on out is allowed to develop. So it meets what's meant by trade development is effectively you're allowed to develop your trade according to your needs and requirements. You're not expected to just buy one particular item or one particular place, because if needs change, then you have to have the flexibility to be able to adapt to that change. So when you start looking at that, you have overbearing rules in life in. It is somewhat misguided, because at the day, again, it all acts to the totalitarianism. That if one rule fits something is not working, you're whipped back in to follow that particular rule. Use a term that's used with Parliament, our Parliament. But again, within that history, and a history that works, we work on a Commonwealth. So effectively, whilst the main aim is equal to that of each other, again, we allow that flexibility. And that is the thing about independence, is that you have that flexibility to be able to adapt to changing times. It allows you to imagine what's going to happen if something doesn't either change or if you maintain a particular path, and so on and so forth. Okay. Life in is basically self-regulated. Well, as has been said before, it's likely to try and preserve itself. Right? But, and when I say self-regulated, I mean it's regulated from the core, so you really don't have a say. Even though you said that you do, as in democratically, you don't, because even if you said, well, no, I don't like that, it's rather tough. Yeah, you're going to go along with it. It's for the greater good. Yeah, so that's just one part of the whole that's just collapsed. Right. Okay, Brexit. Is it Frexit and Exit? There's two others, and then there's a couple of other states, you know, European states. But when you start looking at it, I found it more democratic. It's based on the sovereignty of people having the right to say, taking more power, or should I say, evenly distributing power from top to bottom. It then becomes merit-based, because if in the end it holds worth, and the majority say, well, as a matter of fact, yeah, I can see that, then it goes ahead, doesn't it? Rather than saying, well, in a preservation sense, well, yeah, well, I'm having to change, and I have to do this, and I have to do that, and I have to do the other. No, I don't think it will. It's no longer them preserving itself, is it? What you actually do is you set yourself a path to stop destruction. So you're looking at perpetuation. Are you perpetuating problems? Perpetuating solutions? Bear in mind, you can't avoid problems, because if you avoid problems, then you will never find solutions. But then I'm saying that being solution orientated doesn't necessarily mean that your solutions resolve problems, does it? Anybody can find an answer to something, but is that answer applicable to that question, or is that solution applicable to that problem? Yeah, I've used various analogies in the past, you know, like the nettle and the dock leaf. There was a couple of ways of addressing that nettle sting. Yeah. But which is the more productive one? Relationships under intimidation whilst being in, which is what we've seen so far, isn't it? Is basically fear of loss, or project fear, as it's being noted as. Building up armies and using armies, effectively use the army to quell riots rather than actually identifying the problem and actually offering a solution. Yeah, it's the same with the yellow vest problem. Yeah. But like violence relationships under common causes. So, basically what we're doing is consideration of variables. So again, it's part and parcel of the independence. It's part and parcel of a democratic vote. It's part and parcel of discussion. Mm-hmm. So by the time you've finished, it's weighing up the longevity of it all. Intentions and unintended reactions. Yeah. So this is how you can work out the longevity of something. It is, you can work out the life path of something is by identifying its component parts. Right? Again, the sum of the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. The sum of the whole won't grow if you don't treat the sum of the parts properly. Yeah? It'll either stagnate or decay. Very simple. Right? So when all of this, I've heard that the Prime Minister is out of control. I don't necessarily think it is. She is. I think what she's actually trying to do as part of risk aversion or risk analysis, and impact analysis and so on and so forth, by actually creating or becoming a more of a strong centre pin, what it does, what that allows a person to do is to be able to see the fluctuating environment. If you, in yourself, become very too fluid, then you can get lost within the arguments all around you. That's not to say that being a strong pin, centre pin, you shouldn't flex. Like a tree, for instance. Yeah, it's a very simple analogy. But like a tree, it's a very strong centre pin within an environment. But when the winds of change come, no matter the direction, it has that ability to basically flex according to the change. Yeah, according to its environment. Which is the reason why it's lasted for such a long time. Yeah? But at the same token, you can still anchor yourself. Yeah? So when you start looking at all of this, you start looking at the shifting environment, politics, what you actually see, as it's been noted by two different sources across the internet, is the simple fact that it is Parliament that's come out of control. Yes. It very much seems like that Parliament seems to be thinking for itself, not for its constituents. But its representative figures that people vote for. Yes. So by the time you're actually finished, what we're actually doing is thinking because they can't see life beyond the European Union. Furthermore, they can't see life as part of the whole in terms of a variable part. Yeah? So in turn, they've become subject to fear of loss. And to be able to actually negate that fear of loss, they instill fear into others, making themselves feel secure. Hence the reason why I said, just pull the plaster off. If you have to, I'll tell you what, right, this is how it works, right? Let's be bold and bold. Pull the plaster off and you can blame me if you want. Just, if you can't come to an agreement, pull the plaster off and you can blame me. But, however, to do such a thing would in fact come at a cost. It would. Not necessarily in a financial way, it's not a sacrifice on demand, you know. It will come at a cost. Right, well. So, you're battling with an agreement. Right now, as an incentive, because the Labour is trying to destabilise Conservatives based on the whole representation of all of this, I think it's only fair to say that the Labour Party is entitled to its split decisions, isn't it? And to call on current Prime Minister to step down, I think, is a balancing of this whole scenario. I think the Labour leader should step down as well. It doesn't matter, does it? When you start calling somebody else's have a good reason. And many of people have been given good reason, but for the Labour leaders, the Labour designation step down. Tell me what you wish to vote in chapter. However, if you don't come to a conclusion, a reasonable conclusion between the party, then the conclusion will be made. But forget it, you're on your last part of the war anyway, and I don't, as well as anyone else, I don't want to have to actually put that final war on. Yeah? Because if I do, if people based on the questions that I ask, if I do, then people will see what happened in 2009, 2010. I either saw pictures in the paper with a Parliament image broken. No, it's very simple. I don't have to go through it, but you know me, I've muddled my way through for the last 10 years, and I'll do it again if I have to. However, come to a reasonable conclusion, because it's easy for you to not, given the fact that when I look at this final message, now we're on the doorstep of Marseille's choice between leaving EU with a deal or no Brexit. Yeah. Given the whole dynamics of all of this, the choices being presented to MPs, they will choose no Brexit. Destabilise Parliament enough to actually say, oh, in that case then we're going to stay. Yay! So again, the second vote became first. And it's purely and simply because our MPs, our members of Parliament, have become out of control. They're non-representative. They're no longer representative of the public opinion. Very straightforward, really. Can be seen. Okay, to answer the question about outside of the European Union for businesses, in a very short answer, and I don't mean short as variables, a little short of entering into businesses and basically helping them change, not necessarily their business model, but the way their business model works and how they see the marketplace and so on and so forth. Every business is in itself different, and have chosen to look at the marketplace in a different way to another, and that's what separates businesses. However, when you start looking at it, when you break it down into two distinct parts, in economics, when I say services, I mean economics, not services in like public services, they're regulated from within anyway. But services in themselves will more likely not be too effective. Right. Now, at the end of the day, you can't avoid the bank services changing or feeling some difficulties, but when all that's negated anyway based on cost. So that's why I'm not involving them too much. But service businesses, you need the internet to work across. Right? the webinars and so on and so forth if there needs be. Otherwise, you've got office-based or business-to-business sites, which is part and parcel of the withdrawal when talking about frontier workers. So in one manner or another, that the agreement on the withdrawal will cover that side of business-to-business development. Resources such as office equipment are inexpensive and can be sourced from a variety of sources, even locally. Okay. And as and when service businesses work things out, like I say, a lot of service businesses is just financially related anyway, and a lot of that's internally. Connecting with people across the world is purely and simply internet-based, or otherwise travel, which then in turn falls underneath purpose. They aren't necessarily going to be affected too much. Alright, so if you've got flight, you've got the travel in itself, the travel industry, which in itself is a service, subject to variable costs, which is where both sides of this in and out have to take into consideration when negotiating deals. That is, the cost of resources to keep that side of the business, that side of the industry working. So the idea is just simply keeping an eye on the market. That is, and encouraging the government to actually ensure that costs are kept real. Because not only will it affect us, it will in turn affect others. But there should not be a reason why you say, I have to stay here because this and that. But that's what trade negotiations, that's the word, negotiations, are all about. Communicating with each other, finding out your needs and your needs and or requirements. When looking at resource businesses, while this section of the industry may be affected, it's more about import and export. And this is why you need to negotiate your deals a lot better. It's one of the reasons why I'm talking about tracking electronics to get goods across borders just a little bit quicker, sealed units and so on and so forth. So if you go back to the last video, it's usually done. By the time you're actually finished, what you're looking at is a re-evaluation, a reinvestment, diversification and innovation. Yeah? From a central point of view, lowering taxation and VATs. That will help businesses. Money saved on membership, on the memberships and unneeded aid packages can be redistributed as UK support funding. Like European funding, European social funding, economic funding. Effectively, the best thing for the central government to do to help businesses such as yourself, and businesses in turn encourage the UK central government to actually look at it in that particular way, is anything that is saved from paying out is reinvested back in. And it does. So you have a UK social fund or a UK economic fund to assist with taxations, VATs, revaluation, investments, diversification and that. Encourage businesses that can to make and sell their own goods. Examples: electronics, parts, engineering, land cultivation and repairs, which is what we act back to early part of this process about irrigation ditches, repairing the land, refertilizer, all that type of stuff. So we can create our own crops and so on and so forth. Encourage further quality of goods, as we were once known for, British made. So you're looking at count marks again. You're looking at ISOs, ensuring that we do produce stuff to a good standard, not just stuff that we bang together and chuck out, like I've known other places to do. So instead of creating, another example, cost saving and saving and spending needless money or wastage, It also assists towards saving on land and pollutions. Instead of creating new rail networks, revamp older ones. Like I was saying to you before about council housing stock. If there's nobody, tear it down. You're part of the construction industry. You tear it down and rebuild them. Yeah? So you've got new housing stock. Yeah? Fit for purpose. The idea is I'm pretty certain that rail networks can be diverted while sections of tracks are updated to accommodate faster rail networks, rather than putting new rail networks in, disturbing the land and other residents, taking up valuable space that could be used for other things. Yeah? So by the time I've finished explaining all of this, it's all about, it does kind of consolidate itself into one acronym. It's quite a long acronym, but it's still nonetheless relevant, as we've seen before, within balancing all of economic and political states like social needs and requirements. What you've got is direction. Yeah? You've got diversifying, innovation, restructuring, evaluation. You've got circulation of goods and various other funds and keeping things going. You've got taxation, investment, you've got technology and network. So it's taking all of that into consideration, then will help you create a direction in which to go. Because basically, as I said in the initial Twitter feed, was pay attention to the marketplace. Right? Fill gaps. If this coming out affects the actual import, then create your own. It may cost a small amount for retooling, but again, that's part and parcel of reinvestment. It's part and parcel of creating a UK development fund or social fund with money that's saved. So we're now beginning to reinvest back into ourselves. And then anything that you create for yourself inadvertently creates when you export. So more to export. So there's more income coming back into the country. And in turn, with new trade negotiations, there's more money within the pot to be able to import the stuff that is needed. So, circulation. Right? Again, look at it. Think about the direction of it all. Right? You're looking at diversifying, innovation, restructuring, evaluation, and you keep evaluating, circulation, taxations, investments. Yeah? You got technology, open opportunity, that's another one. Opportunity, yeah, so I've missed one out. So investments, opportunity, there's technology and networks. The opportunity is technological. Well, my mistake on that one. That's what you get for scribbles. So taxes, investments, opportunity. Opportunities like technology, go back to innovation, yeah, through investments, and networks, which in negotiations, is trade, business to business. So by the time you've actually pulled all of that together, you will begin to find a new answer to the door. Yeah? Alright. 30-minute mark in terms of information. I will save the as of which seems like I keep getting pulled back in. When a time comes that is more suitable, I will end it more suitably. I have got something wrote down there, but I'm thinking to myself, no, leave that part for another part. Because it seems like I keep getting pulled back in, and it's kind of like, I need to get all this. But then, the same token, slamming a time frame on stuff doesn't always mean that it will come to a conclusion. So, there might be a slight run-on with all of this. an eye, so letting you know that I'm still there in the background, watching, listening, and I'll give you feedback. And all this. Yeah? Right. After we just leave this, I've got other getting on with. I hope them two portions of information is not two sections of information, not too convoluted. I hope it makes sense, and it is something that you can actually work with. Right. You enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back again soon.